Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the first episode of a series I'm gonna call Weekly Percent. This is a series where I simply try to learn a speedrun in a week and see if I can complete it. Today's episode, while also being the first episode, is going to be Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo Entertainment System. This game sucks when you're speedrunning it as a beginner since a lot of tricks are really precise, and doing things even slightly wrong will end up with you dying. I found this out the hard way. I definitely recommend speedrunning another game before attempting this one, but I do want to point out beforehand that I'm not usually an angry person, but this game brought out the absolute worst of me. I was really, really heated by the end of the fourth day, which is where I decided to stop this one. That, and I also need to be able to get this video out before Tuesday, and I'm currently recording this on a Sunday. When I was writing this, I didn't even have a thumbnail yet. But I'm gonna stop talking, and I'll be back slightly later to explain the things I was doing. On day 1, I decided I was going to practice the route of the game, so I was essentially just trying to beat it. Naturally, in the video, as you end up seeing, I cut out World 1-1 to 4-1 so I could show you all that I tried to go for the wrong warp and failed miserably. Little did I realize that was going to be the trend this week. I thought it was going to be simple enough since, the game came out in the 80s and I'd played it quite a bit beforehand. I was wrong. But after dying in World 8-1, I decided that I would use a save state to go back to World 1-2 every time I died. I decided not to follow through on that because it was a really stupid idea. When I got back to World 8-1, I beat it and then went to World 8-2 and made a save state there, which helped me practice the stairs right at the beginning of the level because they suck a lot. Although they become really easy later on, and the jump is still pretty precise, but I would manage to end up getting it to where it was relatively constant. I managed to beat 8-2 and then do 8-3 and 8-4, and I beat 8-4 in about 40 at about the 40-minute mark on my timer. Although since I used save states to practice things, it doesn't count as a run. And that was pretty much everything for day 1, and so now we have the next day coming up. On day 2, I decided I was going to learn the wrong warp and get it down to a matter of consistency. I didn't get the most consistent with it before I decided to check out the route again with the wrong warp in it this time. I didn't beat the game today, although I did get better at the beginning of 8-2 and kept being awful at 8-1. I eventually realized that if I do the 3 bumps that push Mario forward and then do a last one on the pipe beside the wrong warp pipe, I can line Mario up to miss the piranha plant and land on the right spot of the pipe. I overall started to improve a lot during day 2, which is a really good thing, although I did die on World 8-1 a few times before inevitably just practicing 8-2, which was really needed since I wasn't, great at the level. After a while of being frustrated because I felt like my inputs just weren't inputting sometimes, which is, what they're supposed to do. They're called inputs for a reason, game. I decided to try out Super Mario All-Stars before I inevitably ended the stream, feeling a bit less frustrated than before. Day 3 was me starting to practice runs, as well as having changed the emulator I was using to get rid of the weird input issues. I still had some, but not very much, so, the problem was mostly fixed, which is good. Although Day 3 was also the start of Pride Month, and if this video is getting released on June 4th, which is the day of me typing this script currently and recording it, then happy 4 days into Pride Month, everybody. I'd figured I'd tell you all that, this was the start of Pride Month to explain the rainbow clothing and why I look like I'm Captain Gay. Anyway, as stated, started practicing runs today, and I was trying to get the flow down, as well as getting used to how the timer works for the game, which wasn't too bad. I had a few decent runs, but most of them all ended on either 8-1 or 8-2, although I did manage to get to 8-4 once, and then ended up dying after messing up the route, which kind of just broke me a little inside, so I did some more practicing, probably played some more Mario All-Stars, not gonna lie, and then ended stream. Day 4 was the final day of running, as I had said in the introduction, and for today I had decided I was going to try and get a successful run, which I ended up failing at. Whoops. The closest run I got was around 7 or 8 minutes long. I'm not really sure, as I'm more so focused on typing than getting the exact number at the current moment. But what really broke me with this run is how good it was going. I had a great start to World 1-1 with managing to get into the pipe and leave the sub area with a 379 on the timer, with the best you can get being a 380. Then in 1-2 I managed to get a good run, managing to do all the jumps I needed to perfectly and avoiding dying. Luckily. I was actually on what I think is my best pace here, which is really good for me because I managed to keep it up in World 4-1, never letting go of right, as usual, because that's my best level. 4-2 is sadly where my luck started to, take a turn for the worse, though, because I ended up missing the wrong warp on my first try, but I didn't let that get me down, and I tried again, and I got it. This means that I didn't lose too much time, and it was down to World 8. Let me say it now, World 8 fucking sucks. I managed to beat 8-1 on the first try, but then somehow managed to also first try 8-2. Don't know how, because usually I fail one of those levels. Lucky me, I guess. I was really thinking this was gonna be the run that I actually succeeded. But then 8-3 came along and caused me to die right at the beginning due to a bullet bill that I always forgot about every time I ran. Luckily, managed to beat 8-3 on my second try, make it to the end of it, naturally, since, I beat it. And I got to 8-4. I was both really excited and nervous because this was the furthest I managed to get in one run without getting a game over. And the nerves ended up getting to me because I managed to die on the first set of Goombas right after the Piranha plants, which kind of made me mad, but I shook it off and I tried again. And I got past the Goombas this time, made it to the water section, dodged the bloopers and the fire bars, and I was so close. I could taste victory. But, wouldn't be me if I didn't completely choke and die to the hammer bro, which caused me to game over, and I just kind of gave up because that completely broke me. So, well, in other words, that was a 10-minute way to say, no, I could not learn to speedrun Super Mario Bros. In a week. Hey, I'd like to thank anybody who stayed to the end for watching because it means a lot to me. This is the first video that I've made where I've actually taken a lot of time to edit, so I do apologize for the quality not being the absolute greatest. As you can see from the gameplay in the background, the next video in the series is going to be Super Mario 64, which is going to be a lot easier for me as I've learned a lot about speedrunning the game already. I'd like to thank DarkGod_HPF Runner, Avery X Twitch, and Mario_3110 for following me this week. I have a Discord server, a Twitch channel, and a PayPal you can donate to if you'd like to support me. As of right now, any proceeds made are going to go towards upgrading my setup, as I'm currently doing streams and YouTube from a pretty mid-level laptop. Everything I listed will have links in the description of the video, and I hopefully will see you next week if I'm not too busy with school. See you all later and have a good day.